So you're saying with Hilton Honors, I can use points for a free night stay anywhere?
Anywhere.
What about fancy places like the Canopy in Paris?
Yeah, Hilton Honors, baby.
Or relaxing sanctuaries like the Conrad in Tulum?
Hilton Honors, baby.
Ooh, what about the 5-star Waldorf Astoria in the Maldives?
Are you gonna do this for all 9,000 properties?
When you want points that can take you anywhere, anytime, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay. Book your spring break now.
This is Cop Talk, talking crime, cases, and backing the blue. Now, here are your hosts, Captain Ed Mehmet and Detective Kevin Schroeder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cop Talk. I'm Kevin Schroeder, your host, and unfortunately, my co-host is not going to be with us today. He's not feeling well, and we wish him well, and hopefully he'll be back soon with us. So, God bless you, Captain Ed Mehmet. Look forward to having you back soon. Today's guest on Cop Talk is Steven Randazzo. Steven Randazzo is an actor, and he grew up here in New York City, and he's pro-law enforcement, pro-U.S. military. He's been involved in some fundraisers as well, has done some cop shows. So, Steven, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Steven, why don't you tell our audience, our listeners, a little bit about your background, where you grew up and how you got into acting?
Sure. Well, I grew up on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, which is downtown, sort of by Chinatown. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I must have been 13 years old. I had a friend named Johnny Motz, who passed away, unfortunately, another great singer. He and I thought we were the Everly Brothers, but they were already out, so we couldn't continue.
Was that the 5th Precinct, by the way, Lower East Side, the 5th Precinct?
It was. That was on the
Elizabeth Street.
Elizabeth Street. Yeah,
I think they covered your area.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. So Johnny and I, we would sing together in the hallway, New Harmony. So I'm bringing this up because the first time I ever performed was when I saw singing groups in the street. And I said, gee, I think I can do that. But I was a bit shy, like anybody else might be. And but me and Johnny started to harmonize, and that's how I started to sing in groups. And again, with the acting on the side, I got involved with writing songs. I knew I had a great ear for them. And I got a couple of songs that Tony Orlando would have loved. Mm-hmm. I don't know where he is these days, but I have a song that I think that would be great for him. But anyway, so I sang quite a bit, and a lot of different singing groups. And then I met Rick, a friend of mine, Rick Pedagano. Mm-hmm. Dave Rick was the manager, and we were in a group called Vito and the Salutations that had 2 hit records, The Gloria and Unchained Melody.
What was the hit song with the
Gloria?
Yeah, Gloria, right. Gloria.
And Unchained Melody.
Yeah. Right.
But we did the fast version. Ta 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 you na na. And Rick said I didn't even know if I was singing. He was great to work with because he'd get you to laugh all the time.
No,
But we did. Rick and I were on the group. With the group, sorry, for like 22 years. And growing up in my neighborhood, people would ask me to do impressions of people because I did that. I also had a comic bone. I started to find out in my family. I made fun of them. I imitated them. So the older guys that I grew up in the neighborhood would say, "Hey, Stevie, why don't you do a little something for us here, like Rod Steiger? You know Rod Steiger. Can you do him?" I said, "I don't know if I could do him. You're going to have to ask me again." "Okay, my man, I don't know if I can do it, but if I can." They would laugh, and I said, "I'm glad they're laughing and not hitting me with bats, or anything like that."
Especially in that neighborhood, right?
Yeah. So I'd rather, protect myself with a little humor here and there. I stuck up a candy store with a blank gun one time, like an idiot, because they teased me.
Yeah.
And I was just playing with a little blank gun, a toy gun. But they said, "Yeah, go home and get it. Go ahead. Well, yeah, we'll do with that gun if we." But anyway, I went and up to a block in my neighborhood, and this was probably my first acting job. They were playing in the candy store. They were playing cards for money. Mm-hmm. I came walking down. I was trying to say, how would you do this if you were going to do this in the candy store? I just walked with the gun swinging back and forth. I opened the door and I said, Tommy, like that. they all went into a phone booth, but of course they all couldn't fit. They were, he's got to go on, he's got to go on, he's going to kill me, he's got to kill me. Anyway, they said, don't ever do that again. And my brother said, Steve, if someone had anything real, you wouldn't be here anymore. So I said, it was a cap gun, really.
Yeah.
But, anyway, in the neighborhood, they always told me you tell good stories. So one person in the Mulberry Street areas, we call it the 6th Ward. I was in the 4th Ward, but we were all kind of the same. And this one man said, you should be an actor. And I always loved James Cagney. So all of a sudden I said, yeah, I could be James Cagney. But I realized he was already out there.
Right.
So they said, why don't you get into that? And I thought about it and I studied, and I'll make this short, but I studied for almost, believe it or not, 32 years.
Wow.
With a man named Robert X. Modica. He was an ex-Marine, and he was a strict Sicilian man. He taught me acting, whether I liked it or not. He said, if you don't like it, leave. This is the way I do it. I'll give you a foundation for acting that you will never, ever forget. And he passed. I regret not having him around anymore. I miss him. The 32 years, people think like, did you study with him for 32 years? Does that mean you sat in a seat for 32 years in his class? No, because they would have took me to a hospital for that. That was it. So, no, I went and I did jobs. So here's what I want to share with you. The first one I did as a cop, a policeman with Al Pacino, and you told me the name.
Sea of Love?
One where he robs the bank.
Dog Day Afternoon.
Dog Day Afternoon.
Which is now a play in New York City. Yes. Broadway show, yes.
Yeah, and that's the first time I played a cop. I played a few cops in Law and Order. Mm-hmm. And my first movie was called, if people would like to see it, I think it's a great movie, called True Love.
Okay.
It was out years ago, but it's a really good movie.
Yeah, to check that out, True Love. Okay.
Yeah, True Love. And from True Love, it went to Awakenings with Robert De Niro, Robin Williams, Penny Marshall. And I was lucky to get in that movie for 3 months. And there was a nice-looking lady who was the caterer for breakfast. I went over and said hello, and I said, can I get a cream cheese on a bagel? And she looked at me a little strange. I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And she said, sure. And she gave it to me. She kept looking back at me before. And I said, you got eyes like Presley, Elvis Presley's daughter. She went, what? I said, well, it's okay. I'll get going. That's okay. That's how you couldn't look at me. Yeah. She looked at me like I was a piece of dirt. You know, what? Yeah. And I saw her at the party at Robert De Niro's restaurant at the end of the movie. And I saw her then, and she even looked nicer and prettier. And I said to her, you remember me? She said, of course I remember you. I said, well, so why were you like so cold with me? She said, because you looked like a real patient in the movie. And they were sick people. So I said, so you're calling me a sick person? I said, but actually it's a compliment, because if you see me that way, then I did my job. Yeah. But I've been in just about, and anyone listening, if they ever want to look me up, Steven Randazzo. I've been in almost 60-something movies, and all the Law and Orders. I played a judge, I played a gangster, and I played a cop. Cops, which I respect. Yes. Very good friend of mine, Ross Asciuto, if I might say. I sang with him for years, for years, and then he became a cop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now he's retired, and he's a good man. So now you do some comedy as well, right? I did stand-up comedy, yeah.
Where'd you do that, New York or L.A.?
I did it in L.A. at a place called The Comedy Store. Okay. And it was really rough. And the reason why I did it is because people did say, like the man who said, you should be an actor. They also said, my cousin said, Steven, you're so funny. These people are terrible. You know how much money you can make? I said, well, you're funny too. Why don't you go on the stage? She said, no, you got to do it. So hearing different people say you're so funny, it's not the way to go. I went and I did it, and I made people laugh, and sometimes I didn't. But when you don't, it's the darkest feeling you want to feel. Yeah. It's really difficult. Yeah. You know, and then there's lights when they want you to get off because you didn't do too good. Bing, bing, they stop
blinking lights.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then if you say, And then what I did was, and then you did to time to get off. That's what you did. That's how nasty can you be? You know, I already got abused. Now you're going to abuse me again. So I learned through, and I'm not ashamed of this, the therapy that I've been in all my life, which has made me a better man, a better life, deal with people better. I believe in God very deeply.
Did you have something with depression?
I'm going to tell you then. I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you. When the hippie days were around, I did my smoking joints. I looked different. Hair was different. Guys in my neighborhood who were goombas who wondered, "What are you doing with yourself? What are you doing this year? What's up there? Why do you look like it this year? What's the matter with you? It's nothing wrong with me. I feel pretty good right now. I smoked a joint, so I'm looking at you." And unfortunately, I took a little acid one time, and I won't go into detail too much because it will destroy me right here because it brings back such memories. I didn't know, I wound up having a nervous breakdown, a serious one. I was starting to lose my own, if you take a joint, not a joint, acid, it usually lasts about 7 hours. Walls were sweating. When is a wall going to breathe and sweat? But it was. I just started to lose my own identity where I actually had to say, I eat on Sundays, I eat with my grandmother and my mother. They come and we have macaroni. It was scaring the life out of me. So I went to Queens College at the time. My brother helped me get in there to get me off the street. When I got there, I met a woman, Beverly Elkin, which was another huge, big part of my life, who's passed. She was older then. And I sat down with her and I looked and she said, I asked for you and I know your brother Sal. And where were you this recently? What'd you do this summer? I said, nothing. I was with my cousin. And so I said, let me say it. I said, we smoked a joint. She said, is that it? I said, why do you keep asking me like this? I was scared, really. She said, you're having a very serious nervous breakdown right now. I said, I always thought of that on TV or songs, got a breakdown. And she said, you need two things. One is either you go into a hospital and you get better, because you will, or you see me 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm first. You don't go to any other class but me. See me. I said, I'm not going to go to any hospital because it was too scary. I said, then I'll have a stigma. Ooh, he was up in the hospital. He's crazy. You're more crazy because you're poking at me. So I stayed for 6 years, and I couldn't have got better with a better person than her, Beverly Elkin. I could not. And she said, this I really like. What happened to you is you crashed. Your entire life, the acid took you, whereas other people suffer for long times, rather. So in some way, you're a little bit lucky in a way, because what happened to you all at once, now we're going to get rid of that. You're going to become Steven. All of us get a lot of junk put on us when we're younger, even from families. They don't mean it, they mean well, but they want you to do it their way, and it may not be good for you. Such as growing up in the streets, coming from a broken home. Came from a broken home. That was not easy at all. Alcohol. My mom was an alcoholic. Other people don't like saying these things. To me, you live once. God is with me. When my time comes, I know he's going to say you're a pretty good guy. So after the 6 years, I felt strong. But just to switch back with the comedy, anybody who wants to do stand-up, you do it because you want to do it. Right. Don't do it because people say, oh, you should. Right. There's no shoulds. They're not going up there. They're telling you should. But you got to want to do it. This way, it's fun rather than pressure.
Right. Whether they like you or not, you're having fun, and that's the bottom line, when you're doing it because of what you want to do. Getting back to depression, unfortunately, I'm sure you read about it. There's been one too many. Police officers commit suicide, not only in the NYPD, but throughout the country, and it's and a lot of young guys too, and not that you should, I not that it's acceptable at 45 years old versus 25, but it's just amazing how many kids have a battle with depression, and sometimes they're afraid to speak about it because sometimes the police department puts you on ice, and they take away your weapons and your shield and you're on a rubber gun squad, which shouldn't be,
Yep.
and they need the help, and then sometimes they're afraid to ask for the help, but then the help is there. I mean, the NYPD has a good system.
It should be. They're human beings.
Right, exactly. But now more and more, there's more, it's being observed much more now today, depression in law enforcement than it ever was,
Right.
It's a little, thank God it's, people starting to accept it and realize it's a problem, it's an illness. But there's hope and there's help.
Yes.
Just have to ask for it, Well,
but it's interesting. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's interesting that it should be more that is with cops. Yeah. They're under tremendous pressure.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you have something for them, not to say the regular people don't have it, but not to knock anything out of cops.
No,
I mean, my God.
I know. It's you hear these horror stories, and it's as you could be talking to somebody, and I have a lot of friends with. Too many friends, I'll put it that way, where, I'm with them a couple of days before and everything's fine. And next thing you know, they're not here no more. It's like, you should have talked to me. You should have say something. There was no signs of anything,
It's
you never know. You never know what's going through somebody's head. Real quick story, not to bore you, but
no,
real quick,
ain't boring me, buddy.
Detective story. When I was on the job, a detective in Midtown North Precinct, I had a case one day where a guy tried to kill himself, and whatever, he had a good job. He was in a record business, and I guess things went bad, and his wife had a good job, and we respond. He tried to commit suicide, tried to shoot himself in the head, wound up shooting his nose off and going to the hospital, and months later, we get another call, same address, and this time he jumped off the roof.
Oh my God!
So he never got the help he should have got. But yeah, that's because within 6 months I responded to when he attempted to shoot himself in the head, and then 6-7 months later I responded as well while he jumped off the roof.
So can I ask what happened in between? Do you know what I mean? When he shot his nose?
Not much of anything. Well, he was in the hospital,
Right,
and
but
then
no help was where he wound up jumping off the roof?
According to the wife, I mean, this is just based on the wife's conversation at the time, he started to go for help and then he stopped.
Then it stopped.
Yeah,
well, that's the problem. That's got to be the problem there.
It is the problem.
Got to continue that for sure.
Yep. So, Steve,
Yeah.
let's go back to you did a movie with Penny Marshall, you said, and De Niro. So why don't you tell us that
And
story?
Robin Williams.
And Rob Williams too? Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That the same movie? Same?
Yeah,
same,
Awakenings.
Okay.
Awakenings.
Why don't you tell our audience about it?
Well, Awakenings, again, my agent said to me, I'll do my agent for you a little bit too. Steve, they want to call you for a show, and it's called Awakenings. And was it for that? Oh, no, that was I'm sorry. That was Vinny Pastore's movie, the TV show, whatever it was. Sopranos. I'm sorry. I'm mixing it up with that. But
okay.
Awakenings, he said, they're looking for one man. They're already shooting, but they need one man, not a woman. You're not a woman, you know that. I want to tell them, well, you're close to one. But anyway, so I said, okay. He said, so they're going to line up with a bunch of people and you go and audition. And I hope you get the job because it's about 3 weeks' work. So think about it. And Penny Marshall's the director. Robert De Niro is in it. I said, so we went to City Island on a bus, 10 guys. And Penny Marshall was there. And she asked the casting person, whose work do you know? And he picked 3 people, and I happened to be one of them. We came back, we went to Carnegie Hall. So the 3 of us were in there. Robin Williams was there. The producers were there up in that office, the way we did it. And De Niro wasn't there. So anyway, Penny Marshall said, okay, now here's what we're going to do, people. We want, when I say you've been sleeping for 30 years. So if you've been sleeping for 30 years, how would you get out of a chair? I want to see how you're going to get out of a chair, okay? So all I'm going to say, so when I say action, you do it. So I said to myself, they were looking for someone who was like emaciated, very thin, very sickly looking. I wasn't huge and I wasn't real sickly looking. So I said, you're not going to get this, but I think you're chunky enough not to get it. You need to be sick. So I did a character that I grew up with named Sam Dagstein. Everyone in the neighborhood got hysterical with this man. He was on 300 milligrams of Thorazine. He smoked anything he could roll. So we always laughed, and he sang bass in the group. Well, anyway, you remember, what's his name? Don K. Reed, the doo-wop shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were in there, and Sammy was in it. And I have to say, Sammy, and go back to the other story with the De Niro, this movie, whatever. And how did it go? Yeah. So Don K. Reed asked all of us, like you're doing right now, interviewed us, and then he got to Sammy, and he said, "So Sam," he said, "So how did you get the deep voice, the boom, boom, boom? How'd you get that? All the women like that. How come you got that deep voice?" He said, "Well, here's the way it went. I always had a very, very high voice. For whatever reason, I wanted to be a bass. So a friend of mine said if I ate a lemon every morning, I would get deep. I would get a very deep voice." We were hysterical laughing. We had to hold back like this in the radio. Yeah. And he don't know because he's on Thorazine, 300 drugs. He said, so my friend asked, and I ate a lemon every night. Before you know it, I became very, very deep. And from there in the neighborhood, they found me, and that's how it started. So go back to Awakenings. I played him in the chair. And I just got up and walked around. And I did Sammy. That was it. Because I didn't think I was going to get any work. Yeah. I said, and it's extra work. It was extra work. I did my extra work as an actor. Because I believe in learning. So I didn't screw around like some other people who are extras. I'm only an extra. No, I watched other people, what they do, and blah, blah, blah. So there was the three of us in there, as I said, and I forget what Sammy... yeah, I got up, I did Sammy, and then all of a sudden I heard, Steven is your name? I said, yes, it was Penny. She said, come on over here and sit down. And I looked around for the other guys, nobody was there. I said, well, you got the job. And then she said, we're going to call you Luis. We're going to put you in the movie. Now, what was your career for 30 years ago? What career would you have had? I said, well, 30 years ago, probably a singer. Well, we have a singer. We need a gambler. I said, a gambler. Can you do the 3-card thing? What am I going to say? No. I said, right. Yes, I can. And God was with me one more time. And I did the thing, and it worked. So she went, all right, that's very good. She said, so I'll see you in the morning at 4:30 in the morning. We meet at a real hospital here in Brooklyn. I'll give you the address. And it's extra work. And I said, okay. That's where I met my wife, I was saying earlier. Oh, wow. So, but anyway, when I went up to the hospital on the floor, there were mobs of extra people. I've done that before. It's not easy. It's boring if you've done it. If you're not, it's kind of exciting if you watch and make it exciting. So I said to myself, I saw beds in the back of the room, and I said, maybe I could lay down. It's 4:30 in the morning. I mean, I'll just rest. And the guy who says, so I'd like you to sit here, you get a cup of coffee, and as he walks, when he walks, you sit down, give him a donut, whatever, open the door. I said, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to get out of here. So I went and I laid down on the bed and fell asleep. I was snoring. Here I am snoring, and somebody grabs my foot, and I hear, hey, my man, you got to get up, You're going to talk, man. You're not going to be extra. It was Robin Williams pulling on my leg.
Oh, wow.
And it's a big thing to me. I never met him. I said, oh, yeah, hi, Robin. He said, let's go. Come on, we're going to do it. Come on, you'll blow the tits off them. I mean, that's exactly what he said. And I said, okay, come on. You're going to talk. You're not an extra anymore. She's putting you up. She's going to upgrade you. So that when they lined up the people that were already in the movie, Julie Kavner, who's a wonderful one, she always done a lot of voice overs for Walt Disney. She was very, very good and a great person. She worked for Penny. Penny didn't actually come up to you to change or say, do this, do that. She did. Excuse me. So she came up and she said, so Luis, what can we get you? Because this is after 30 years. And other people were asking for hats from 30 years ago. So I said, I'd like a lemon, whatever. Well, everyone was hysterical. And she said, cut. And she said, no, tell Steven, he's a gambler. I don't know why he wants a lemon. So the whole crew would get hysterical. I said, oh, all right. So I did the cards, and that was it. But every morning when I would walk in for the job and come on set, they would see me go, Stevie, do the lemon, do the guy, Sammy, do lemon. They loved when I did Sammy. They loved the lemon and all, but because it was real, and it came from a real place, so they must have smelled it. So, but anyway, it was a great experience. It really was. So today, I'm 32 years married to Nancy.
Oh,
yeah, where I had the bagel with cream cheese. Wow. What a mistake I made. I never ate a bagel with cream cheese ever again. We're finished. I won't ever do it again. I won't eat it.
Tell me, so you and De Niro came from the same neighborhood, basically.
Yes, Robert De Niro came from the West Side.
Yeah.
And when I met his father, I met Martin Scorsese's father in the hospital and got a chance to talk with him, say hello to him, tell him how much I thought of his son. And he said, did you ever see Mean Streets?
Yes.
Okay, so then you know.
Johnny Boy.
Yes, Johnny Boy. Yeah, why me? What are you doing? What are you on, Mook?
Yeah.
So I said to his father, I said, I love the Mean Streets, Mr. Scorsese. He said, well, that's not the first Mean Streets. The first one was Who's That Knocking on My Door? And that's true. Harvey Keitel was in it. But they could not find the Johnny Boy. And this director, who's not coming to me right away, but he is a big director who was at NYU, told Scorsese, come with me. And he took him to the West Side, and De Niro had a little hat on. And he said, that's the guy I think you should use. And Scorsese looked and said, yeah, I think you're right. And that's how it became. Well, it came from his father, so it must be true, right?
Right. But you said you worked with De Niro, though, I think.
I worked with De Niro. They liked me a lot. If you want to ask me a question,
No, I think what I'm going at is you were telling me a story about you and De Niro. You got a note to him that, hey, you grew up in
yeah. Right. So, yes, I did. They gave me, my dressing room was next to his. When they gave me the dressing room from being upgraded, I saw it was his dressing room. I said, let me write a little note, because he comes from the West Side, I come from the same area. And I wrote a little note saying, hi, Bob, this is a great honor to be working with you. My name is Steven. I'm right next door to you, and it's an honor to be here, and so I'm your neighbor. If you want to say hello, I'm here too. I'd love to see you. Would not give me an inch of any hello, even just, hey, how you doing? Other people loved my work, and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud to say it, because a lot of, you can't win if you say, I loved my work. Well, you're bragging or whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, I won't brag. Then you get depressed. They go, you can't be depressed. You got to lift yourself up. How do you win? These people, they tell you what to do. Yeah. So, he would stare at me a lot, and I honestly think that he didn't know who I was, because I came into the movie late. Number two, I saw him and Pesci in the street during the shoots. They were at a restaurant. I was there with my teacher, the one I told you who I miss, and it was great, Robert Modica. And I said to Robert Modica, I had a funny tape that I wanted De Niro to look at. Not to get me a job, but to see if he'd enjoy it, because there was a bunch of Italian guys with hats that would talk to each other over coffee, over nothing, and argue over sugar, let's say. So it was a comedy. So I said, I'd love to give it to him. And my teacher said, well, why don't you just go over and tell him you got the tape, And I said, all right. So I walked over, and he was talking to Pesci. I said, excuse me, Bob. I said, I was wondering, would you want to take a look at this tape? It's a funny tape. I thought maybe you might enjoy it. He looked at me and went, yeah, give it to me on set, all right? Because he was busy. I said, oh, okay, I'll give it on set. When they called him for his scene, I came out of my dressing room, and I saw him go down an exit with a door to go to the next floor for the scene. And I thought that might be the time to ask him about the tape. So I walked over to the door that was opening, and he was walking in. And I said, "Excuse me, Bob." I said, "Is this be all right for me to give you the tape now?" I gave him all the room. And can I do this?
Yeah.
So he actually took the tape from me, and I'll do this, and then I'll tell you why. He took the tape out of my hand, and he went like this here. He looked at every angle, everywhere. Made me nervous. I want to say, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And he just walked away. Mm-hmm. Took it, but walked away. I later learned that stars like him, of his status, whether one likes him or not, they're afraid. Now, no one knew who I was when I got hired. Penny did, of course. She hired me, and the crew liked me, and Robin Williams. But I could have been a bit of a wacko. Look what happened. Look what happened.
Stalker.
What's that?
Like a stalker.
Yes.
Hey, I'm a fan.
Yeah, right. But look what happened to John Lennon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
He gave him his his autograph, and that dirty rat did what he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could have, no one searched me, and I was now in the movie with these people in my own dressing room. I could have had something on me, or a knife, or God forbid.
I get it. Yeah.
Here I am in an exit. He probably thought it was a bomb.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my guess.
God knows, yeah.
But the other important thing, I think, for people who are famous, now I met him in France because I got called to be in a movie in France.
Oh, okay.
But no big deal. No big deal. I thought I had lines. But anyway, I had no lines. And I told my agent, "Why are they flying me to France? What do I do there? Eat spaghetti in the backyard? I mean, this is ridiculous." But the director wanted me to go there. He said, "Just go and take the money." But so when I was in France, a woman I met, we started talking and laughing and sharing and blah, blah, blah. And she said, "Well, when Bobby comes, I'll introduce you to Bobby." I said, "You'd be De Niro." Yeah. I said, "No, I met him. No, Bobby." He was coming down with his shirt open, getting ready to go into the scene. And she said, "Say hello to Steven." And he looked at me, and I said, "Hey, Bob." And he looked at me, and he said, "Yeah, hi." I said, "You remember me?" He looked at me again, and I said, "But do you remember my character is what I'm saying." And he went, do you remember mine? So he played with me because he had trust from that woman. That's why.
Yep.
Otherwise, he's big and he don't know who you are, what you're going to do to me or with me. No, not going to happen, baby. Right. So I could understand that.
Yeah. A lot of those, actors, I should say you're an actor. But, so, these big celebrity type, really made it in the business. Yeah. They're all different, funnier than others.
It's interesting. I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's interesting to end this topic right here that Robin Williams didn't think that.
Yeah. No, I know. Right?
I got pictures home. I could show you a picture now with me and him where he's got his arm around me.
TaxAct can think of a million things more fun than filing taxes. TaxAct is going to name some now. Sitting in traffic. Folding a fitted bedsheet. Listening to your coworker talk about his fantasy team. Digging a hole. Digging an even larger hole next to that original hole. Unfortunately, TaxAct's filing software can't make taxes fun. But TaxAct can help you get them done. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
No one goes to Hank's for spreadsheets. They go for a darn good pizza. Lately, though, the shop's been quiet, so Hank decides to bring back the $1 slice. He asks Copilot in Microsoft Excel to look at his sales and costs and help him see if he can afford it. Copilot shows Hank where the money's going and which little extras make the dollar slice work. Now Hank has a line out the door. Hank makes the pizza, Copilot handles the spreadsheets. Learn more at m365copilot.com/work.
Good things come in fours, like ukulele strings, boy band members, and PayPal Pay in 4. No fees, no interest, no impact on your credit score. Just the flexibility to pay the way that works for you. Strum it, hum it, pay it in 4. Download the PayPal app to get started. Subject to approval. Learn more at paypal.com/pay-in-4. PayPal Inc. NMLS 910457.
Well, getting back to, not to go into it again, but again, touching on depression, Robin Williams.
Oh. Good friend of mine always said, "Steve, there's something deep in this guy. I know everybody's hysterical." I said, I think he's a bit of a genius. Now, he was never the type of comic to make me go, laugh hard. Don Rickles was for me.
Yeah, Don was good.
He was a nut job, in a good way.
Yeah.
Don Rickles, may he rest in peace. He was great. I get hysterical with him.
Yeah.
But what did you just say to me?
I forgot. No,
So
we're talking
me
about
too.
Robin Williams with depression. Yeah.
That's terrible. It was just a terrible thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's just a terrible thing.
I know.
Do you know? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, no, you go first because I.
Well, then I saw an interview on TV or whatever, the computer, and his wife was being interviewed. And whoever was interviewing, I don't remember, a man or woman, but they said, so how was Robin before he passed, when he knew he was really sick? Did he talk a lot? Did he talk about what he wants now or don't want or that? She said, he said he was really sick. She said he was very sick. But he did say to me, if I can't make people laugh, I don't want to be here.
I wish I could make you laugh, but I'm not as funny as you are. You're a great comedian. I mean, you do a lot of. You're a good actor, comedian. I mean, you do really good. You know, and I know you're not acting right now.
No,
but
no. What he did with me, for me, around me. I got a big picture of him. He's doing my character. He's doing Sammy.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was generous.
Yeah. I know. I know. There's so many sad stories like Robin Williams. You know, so many.
And I did another movie with him.
Yeah.
I wound up in another movie. And
well, listen, on a lighter note, so you mentioned Tony Orlando before.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a relative of mine. I'm actually having dinner with him this week. With that said, whatever you want me to give him, I will be more than happy to give him on your behalf.
Does he look at a CD?
He's a relative. He'll look whatever I ask him to look at, well, and but and then he may look at it and say, "Oh, thanks." So he may, who knows? But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, it's Tony, as you know, he does a great performer. Oh, yeah. He's basically retired right now. He did his last show, Mohegan Sun, about 2 years ago, but he still does things here and there. He still has a voice. He sounds great. He's a real showman, and we love him.
I have to ask you, did you say something about his son? His
son? No, Mohegan Sun.
I thought for a minute something happened.
No. Okay. He has a son, Johnny. He has a daughter. Jenny Rose. His wife Francine, and I just actually taped with his brother-in-law recently, former LAPD cop.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's all one family. But I just wanted to bring it up because you mentioned Tony Orlando before. But yeah, Steven. So, what do you got coming up?
I'm writing something. I'm calling it 78 Plus. Because I'm 78 years old.
Oh, okay. God bless. Yeah, you're great. Yeah.
And I was going to show you, but it might take some time where I'm in a boxing gym now and learning how to box. And for people,
cool.
Yes, I'm doing a good job.
Nice.
God gave me the strength. I could whack a bag and scare the life out of people. I'm really in there. So a guy, in fact, so you'll know, a guy came up to me. There's 4 or 5 bags that you hit. One guy came up to me. He says, "Yo, man, how many fights you been in?" I said, 1, the bag. That's what I've been fighting. He said, "Come on, man. What you been in?" I said, "What do you mean, come on, man? The bag."
Yeah.
He said, "You've been the bag, man." He said, "How old are you? How old are you?" I want to say, "Well, I don't like the way you talk to me. I'm Italian. I'm not black. So stop it."
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
He said, "No, man, how old are you?" I said, "I'm 78. You're 78? Come on. I said, where we going? Where we going? The candy store?" I said, 78, and thank God.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons I have to tell you, when people get upset, I hope they hear this and they hear me saying it. It's going to sound crazy and weird, but if you're really puffed up in bed, have a nervous breakdown. Then that may be scary, they may hurt, you may have to go to the doctor, but you'll get rid of the crap that's in you.
Yeah.
Pardon my language. Yeah. I really feel that did that for me, made me look and feel younger. Nobody thinks I'm 78.
Yeah, you look great.
Yeah,
Thank you. You sound great.
And if I showed you that, you'd see what I mean, how I'm hitting the bag.
Yeah.
Rick's already said, "That's you."
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway, I go back to what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 78 plus, because it's quick about a story who gets these surges of rage, like surges of crying too. It's not easy now for me to talk about these things with like him, Robert De Niro. I mean, Robin Williams. And anyway, he could lose his family by getting into these nasty verbal, not fit. I'm not the kind of guy who breaks windows, throws things at his wife, but he'd say things like, I don't want to hear anything anymore, okay? Just, Nancy, do me a favor. Right now, I'm not in good shape. You know it. You see it. My son, Gus, too. Gus, don't get involved either, or I walk right out of this effing house. You got it? That's it. Listen, do me a favor. I need a break. I need a break. That's it. And I know when I'm feeling, I don't like that feeling. But I've experienced it a lot in my life where I had to take a mood stabilizer. So I wanted to write about that because I think a lot of people experience that.
Yes.
So there you go.
Absolutely.
So I'm writing that and trying to raise some money for it. And like I say, it's going to be called 78 Plus. Mm-hmm. And he finds out, how bad it is and how much he loves his wife and is somewhat losing her at one time where she starts packing up to go away. Then there's almost the end scene where he gets a little stronger and goes to go home. She ain't there. She's in an ambulance. And now he's got to go to her because she always helps him. So that's where I was going to sing the song, if you probably know Elvis Presley, The Wonder of You.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's the one I would sing to her.
Nice.
Nice. No, since no one else understand me.
Great song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Steve, in closing here, okay, would you like to bring us out with a, well, first of all, let me rewind. How can folks out there, our audience, want to get in touch with you to hire you to do a stand-up comedy or do an acting job or
okay.
a benefit, police benefit,
That'd be great. Anyway, I can assist somebody.
Is there a website or email address?
Yeah, sure. So you want me to just give information like to see it?
Yeah, just let them know.
Well, you can reach me at my phone, which is 917-816-9901.
How about an email address?
Email.
You can read it.
Well, email, an email I can give also. But
email is going to be srandz@ptd.net.
Correct.
Okay, great, fantastic. So if anyone wants to hire Steven Randazzo for a benefit for the police and widows and children, or anything you'd like to hire him for, even a birthday party. He's here. So, Steven, why don't you sing a song and bring us out?
Oh, sure. So, let me, is this on, this microphone? It is? No reverb? Oh, here it goes, I guess. You can too. Okay. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I say, would it be a sin? 'Cause I can't help, I'm falling in love with you.
Keep singing, Steven. Steven Randazzo, our guest today. I want to thank Steven and thank his family as well for allowing him to be here with us today. If you know how to reach him, Steven Randazzo. Until next time, I'd like to also wish Captain Ed Mammoth well. So, Captain, we're looking forward to having you back soon. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America. God bless law enforcement throughout the country. God bless our U.S. military. Until next time, be safe, and thank you for listening. And, of course, we're on social media. Thank you.
Can't help falling in love.
Great. Perfect.